Welcome into another episode of Bourbon South. Chase Parham, Steve Thomason, just the two of us here with you today, and we're going to have a little fun. We appreciate you listening in to the comments over the past few weeks. Really appreciate that. Keep them coming. Keep telling friends about it. Post about it on social media. We appreciate all the help we can get there as we hope to bring good bourbon to you, bring good stories, good guests. And today, like I said, a little bit of fun as we're testing ourselves. We are opening ourselves up to maybe being fools, maybe not, but either way, enjoying three great bottles and seeing what shakes out. It's Blind Taste Day here on Bourbon South as we have three excellent bottles of bourbon in front of us, including a couple that a lot of people would really like to get their hands on, and one that at times has been the holy grail of bourbon for a lot of bourbon hunters. So we're going to do those today. They are already poured in the glasses. We had one of our MPW digital interns over previously before the show started. Brenna, thanks to you for helping us out. She has poured it in the glasses. We do not know which is which. We're going to try to guess them here on today's show. So this definitely is one YouTube would be your friend to watch us to go through this. If you're listening on the podcast, I appreciate you there. That's when the overwhelming majority of our listens happen. But this would be a good day for the YouTube video. Steve, you seem a little nervous here as we're getting going, as we got these three lined up. We've been talking about palates for a while. We're about to put yours to the test.
Yeah, absolutely. Blind taste scare me to death because you can just think you know something and you come out. I remember the first blind taste I ever did was at the Battle House. I think it's the Battle House. It's a Marriott property in Mobile, Alabama. And they had a tasting one night and I missed it. The bartender was really cool and he held them back from me and I got him from work about 10. There was 5 bourbons and I went 0 for 5.
Did you go 0 for 5?
0 for 5.
Were they all similar proofs and whatnot, or were they pretty mixed?
I remember there was a Wild Turkey and an Eagle Rare, and to this day I'm still pissed at myself. How could I have not gotten those two? And you know, I gotta be straight up. Then I tried to slide her a 20 to say, give me a hint, and she would not help me out. I was going to try to go higher, and she just said, you're wasting your time.
She has loyalty to me, Steve.
Yeah, she's like, I have ethics around here. MPW Digital has ethics. I will not help you out. So, yeah, I'm a little nervous, but you know what? At the same time, if we can't mess up, make fun of ourselves, and so what?
It is, the content is better if we don't get them all correct. But it is 3 great bottles. I mean, we're going to introduce them to you in a second. But that's one thing about this is that we like all of them. This isn't a situation where we go, hey, pick the lemon out, pick the dud out. Yeah. There is no dud here. This is top shelf stuff.
There's no lemon there. And I know a lot of people are thinking, okay, that's 3 entire different mash bills, one from Buffalo Trace, one from Heaven Hill, one from Willett. So you think, okay, you should be able to pop those out. You know, I guess my problem is I've probably tried 75 different bottles this year or more. I mean, who knows? And so I just can't file everything away in my memory. I have in mind what they typically taste like. I told you I kind of wanted to cheat before, earlier today and try them just to get them fresh in my mind. I thought, no, I'm not going to do that.
Didn't do it.
So yeah, we're here. And, it's funny, we talk about the William Larue Weller. That was your and I's unicorn back in the day. We chased it forever. I would get one every 2 or 3 years. Willett Purple Tops are all the rage today. This is an 11-year family estate. It's one of the hardest bottles to get.
It is.
It's right up there with trying. In fact, maybe even harder than getting some of the Pappies, things like that. But then the interesting one is the Elijah Craig Barrel Proof. And it has won so many awards in the last 2 or 3 years. And it's a barrel pick, and I picked that barrel. So now I'm especially embarrassed. But now that was a couple years ago. I'm especially embarrassed if I don't pick yet. But, it comes in at a lot less, the price point, and it's so much better than the other two. I'm curious to see.
That's what I like about this competition. What I like about these blind tastings, and what you'll see from us as we do more and more of these over time with lots of themes, is I like for one to be different. I like for there to be an oddball. Again, it's not bad, just different price point, different distillery, different something that doesn't make it just 3 across the top that are all the same. Steve mentioned them in general terms. Let's bring that to you a little bit. So the Willett that we are getting, the particulars on that is going to be 122.8 proof. For this one, of course, it's a family estate bottle, so it's aged in hand-selected white oak barrels. Again, 11 years on that one for the Willett Purple Top.
The William Larue Weller is 125.3 proof. What did we say? That's 120?
122.8 on the Willett.
So 125.3. I don't have an age statement, and I should have looked this up because we can tell what year. I think this was a 23. But anyway, it's got some years on it.
And that's a fairly, at 125, that's one of the lighter William Larue's. Right. You'll find them up above that a good bit of the time. And then the Elijah Craig single barrel on this one, again, this is a private barrel pick, and it is coming in at 121.5. Very, very similar there, all between 120 and 125 on these proofs. Nothing that's 134, 136, or even down into the 110s. So there's a reason why we have these bottles. And Steve mentioned he's had all of these, or a lot of different bottles over the course of the years. I was trying to think. I guess I've had at least some semblance of two of these very recently. I think I had a Willett back in the spring. I have not had one since then, so it's been several months since I've had a Willett Purple Top. The Elijah Craig, I had a different barrel pick, one of the gifts from Matt and Katie Penninger from our Kentucky Bourbon Trail scenario we have going on. They gave me one from Frugal McDougal a couple weeks ago, so I tried that on the post-game show last week. That was the Elijah Craig Barrel Proof was the bottle that I tried from Frugal McDougal on the that's out of Nashville for anybody on the show, and then I had this exact William Larue Weller as an opener for the show a couple weeks ago as well. So that's where I'm kind of sitting on these three bottles right now as we're getting going.
You know, the family estates. God, people chase them so hard. They're one of the first, distilleries that they basically said, hey, we're tired of selling our bottle for $100, $200 and then going for $600 or $800 secondary.
We're just
their prices are marked up secondary. If you get them like that. I was lucky enough a couple of weeks ago with one of our Blue Delta friends to try an 11 year, 17 year, 18 year, 19 purple tops all together. And that was quite interesting.
Was there a clear favorite?
I like the 18 the best. And I took pictures. I can't tell you what bottle. These bottles all have names. I don't remember it. But Nick, much appreciated. I really enjoyed that. That was a good time.
Where do you sort of sit? Is there here in 2024, the bourbon industry has changed so much. It's like anything else. Stock market's up and down, and bottles and what they cost and don't cost, and what the situation is. Do you even have a unicorn now in 2024?
I don't think I have a unicorn. I don't think I have one specific bottle I'm chasing. I'm gone so much it's hard to chase a lot of times. When back in the day, the Pappy and the B-Tax would come out, I would usually get a couple 10s, 12s, every now and then a 15. I'd always get a Stag and usually one of the others. If you could tell me one bottle, I can have one bottle from this fall, I guess the Eagle Rare 17. Yeah. I will most likely, I got a good shot at getting a Stag. I got an Eagle Rare 17 a few years ago, and I actually had the whole BTAC collection put up, and I thought, why am I saving these? And so we drank them. But now my Pappy collection signed by Julian Van Winkle is still in the safe. Yeah.
We're not going to drink that?
No, we're not drinking those.
Okay.
Yeah. We'll hold on to those, but yeah, I guess that Eagle Rare 17, I mean, you know me, I'm so much more into barrel picks, and that's how you get your good bottles is you find your store, you find your restaurant that has people doing the picks that have good palates, and that's where you get into some really good stuff. But, I mean, don't get me wrong now. Elmer T comes across, yeah, I'm going to grab it.
If you could have one bottle a year, is it Stag?
It's the most consistent to me. It's the most consistent year in and year out of the BTAC. It's hard not to say the Larue Weller or the Eagle Rare 17. I'll probably say the Eagle Rare 17, okay. But realistically, yeah, give me a stag every year.
And
I know what I'm getting.
And it's become the reputation. It is what it is. But just in general, I mean, you're a huge fan of the Daily Eagle Rare anyway. That's one that you're completely.
Absolutely, it's been the go-to for a long, long time.
You're an 8 to a 10 on that for the Daily. So let's get into this. I guess let's start off with this. And again, if you're listening on podcast form, we're going to do our best to describe. We're going to use our words. We're going to be adults and do the best we can with that. But just in general, let's start out with some colors. Let's look at the colors real quick on these. Again, we have 3 bottles, and honest, Steve, they all have a lot of similarities on color. There's one that's definitely lighter than the other 2. That's number 3.
Number 3 is a little bit lighter.
Yeah, and I think they actually kind of go in order dark to light, 1, 2, 3, as I am looking at them there. You cannot tell in the bottles, by the way. You can't tell there. So where are you? No. Where are we starting with 1, 2, or 3? What are we doing first?
Let's go 1, 2, 3.
You want to go 1, 2, 3?
Yeah.
All right. So did you grab one?
That's left to right for me.
That's right to left for me. 1, 2, 3. So we're grabbing number 1 again. We both have tape on the bottom of the glasses. It tells us 1, 2, or 3 that they're listed, and then in this book in front of us, the key to the test, the answers as we are doing it here.
So right off the bat, Chase, it goes back to anytime you get a bourbon that's over 120 and you can nose it like this and the alcohol doesn't overwhelm you and you taste it and the alcohol doesn't overwhelm you, to me, it's telling you got a pretty good bourbon there.
And again, they're all going to be like this. This is Elijah Craig Barrel Proof may be, and I don't know what's in my hand. I don't know what's in my hand. That might be a top 5 just always have on the shelf because of the price and
Absolutely.
What it is. I mean, you just should always have one and have it sit there and be available to you.
They have 4 releases a year, and there's a reason one of those releases, or 2 of them, are going to win awards every year. And sometimes Whiskey of the Year, Bourbon of the Year. Really, really good.
So number 1, some pretty hard sweetness on the front. You're getting...
my palate's not the best in the world. We've discussed that. I got to go on to the taste. First of all,
this is the 10 seconds of quiet that you always get on the...
This is a really good bourbon.
It doesn't drink like a 120, whatever it is.
I get heavy vanilla front end, almost some honey.
It's got a sharp finish.
Good pop in the middle.
Yeah.
Really good pop in the middle. And the finish is going to go a long time.
It's a marathon of a finish in the bottom, in the back of your throat.
Yeah. And I'm getting a good burn roof of my mouth as well too. That's where it hits me in the middle.
Do you think this is a proof heat or is this a rye heat? What do you think you're getting on that back end? Is that just simply because of the proof levels, or do you think we have a higher rye?
I won't say proof level. That'd be my guess.
Because of the level of sweetness that goes on in it?
That's a really good pour.
Yeah, and I'm going to have half of it and sit it over here to the side. I'm not going to finish it yet.
Oops.
No, it's fine. We can do it different ways. Don't say it yet, but you think you know in your head?
Yep.
You do?
Yep, I think I got it.
Okay.
Could be wrong, but I think I have it. Yeah, and I should have saved. I get so into wanting to, the first time around, you're right, I should have saved a little bit.
That's okay. Well, we can't. I mean, I can give you a little more out of mine.
Yeah, we can do that.
Yeah.
Here. In case we have to go back. I can tell you this. I don't know which one it is, but
it's not bad. It's not ancient age.
No,
it is not ancient age.
It's a drinker.
So we'll go to number 2. Again, YouTube, the place to see us for this. Number 2.
I get caramel on the
nose. A lot of sweet on the nose.
Yeah. And I get a little more proof on it, it seems like. But again, I don't trust my nose.
That one's sweeter.
I know which one this is.
That's way sweeter. That's way sweeter.
Big time.
And we're going to try to guess them, but we're also going to tell you our favorites. We're going to go down the list of what we prefer here as well, because I think that's a lot of the challenge and the battle in this. Liking something that's unexpected or not where your brain was going in, that's as critical or as interesting to me as getting them right on what they are.
I'm getting some butter toffee, butterscotch, something to go with the caramel. What's a butter caramel even maybe?
Yeah, it's a butter popcorn kind of toffee. It's
not as long to finish.
Not at all. No, this is a lighter.
See, and I want to call that a sipper, but I know it's at least.
It's not a sipper at 120 proof. No,
but right? I mean, but don't you feel like you could just sit there and just pound that one?
Oh, this is dangerous.
That is.
This is the one that's very dangerous when it comes to, because I mean, Steve, there's a lot of complexity here, and it's why it's so good at drinking at that proof. But if somebody said, "Hey, this is 105 proof," you wouldn't argue with them at all. You go, "Okay, that's where we are."
Finish is longer than I originally thought. I still got some finish.
It's just the appropriate finish. It's very good for what it is. It's got the sweetness. It doesn't overwhelm.
All right, so for those of y'all out there that have never blind tasted before, we're going to challenge y'all to do this. You know, you can do it at home. You can do it with your buddies. Do it at your bourbon club. Do it whatever. It's always an interesting thing to do, and typically it always hurts my feelings. That's fine, and you know, and so. As Chase kind of alluded to, you know, get some of the base, get like a Four Roses, a Knob Creek, so you got something from Beam. What would you get from Heaven Hill? Just an Elijah Craig.
Oh, yeah.
Just an Elijah Craig.
The base stuff.
Yeah. A Maker's. You know, which to me is always going to jump out, stand out.
You're going to have a hard time not
but get 4 or 5 of those. And a turkey, maybe like a turkey.
You will tell yourself what you like. You'll quit looking at labels. You'll quit worrying about what it is, and you'll go. And then you see that, and you start going, okay, well, this is like that. So then we start going in a circle for what we really like.
Absolutely, we are influenced by bottles.
There's no doubt.
We are straight up. You see it and you think, oh, that's supposed to be a great bottle, and it will shape your thoughts on it.
Well, here's what's interesting about this contest, or what we're doing, not contest, but this competition we're doing, or investigation, if you will, is that if you watched our episode with Spencer from St. Leo, hopefully you did. If not, go back after this and pick that up. It was great. We talked. We had his favorite bourbon ever, which that's good reason enough to check in. But I criticized this bottle over here on the left during that show, the William Larue Weller, because I said when I had it as an open, again, for anybody who wasn't listening last week, we just take a drink of something before the show starts to engage our palates, get sort of that first alcohol to hit your tongue, and sort of get into the process of trying to taste it and rate it and all those things. And
I had found the bottle, so I just wanted to surprise you because you and I talked about it forever, and I've given you.
Yeah, so I opened with William Larue Weller, of all things. I know, I have a hard job. It sucks. But I said, I don't love it. Like, it was good.
Yeah.
Very, very good. But I was influenced by the bottle in a negative way because it did not rate the way in my head William Larue Weller should rate given my previous experiences with it. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
But when it's kind of hard to find and really, really, really special, you probably do pick it up a point or two, and you got this, we talk about this, it's people, it's memories, it's all these things going on. So in my head, I went, oh, this is awesome because I chased it and I found it. Whereas all I did was walk in before I did an episode of the podcast and take a sip of it. Well, that's changing your framing of it a little bit on what you're expecting and where it's at. So this is fun to me from the standpoint of, we know they're great, but do I look up and go, hey, that's You did more with that one than you thought
Right.
going in at that point. So
well, no, and like you said, here's the deal. We may rank these, and it's going to be a 1A, 1B, and 1C because I don't know, maybe one will drop a little bit, but I would be surprised if we don't like all three of them. So far, I have certainly liked the first two.
Neither one of those two are you going, I wouldn't pick those up or have those.
Oh, no, hell no. I would, not only would I get those, I'd walk a couple of miles to get those. I really would. I think now I'm starting to second guess myself on which one is which.
Are you really?
Yeah, I think I'm tracking. I really think, if I remember correctly, that Elijah Craig has a very distinctive note that I believe I'll pick up, and I think I'll identify it, which tells you I think I haven't had it yet. I'm not sure, but I remember very distinctive there, but we'll see.
That was my guess as well because again, it's the most recent to me where I have a lot. I don't think. But again, I could be seeing the bottle and knowing I love it and knowing, hey, that's it's not your everyday sipper, but this bottle or the Barrel Proof Elijah Craig's is something I go to often and have pretty periodically. Like that's just one that, depending on your day, you're not going, hey, I didn't have the best day in the world. It wasn't a celebration where I'm really going to the cabinet. But whether it was a bad or a pretty good day, that's one you sort of pour in the glass and enjoy for a minute if you need to ruminate on the afternoon that you have.
So is there a unicorn that you would look for this year?
I was thinking about you said it because I don't know in some ways, and there's probably people out there that are yelling at us and yelling ones that they have, and I understand that. And look,
now feel free to mail in your Victor's 20 year. We'll taste it on air, no problem.
But let us know what your unicorns are. I mean, but I'm with you in two ways, and I mean this just being honest. Barrel picks have become really interesting, as you said, where you get something completely different, and that's a way to try bourbon that's not just off the shelf, and you're learning things and trying to figure out what they liked about it and why they picked it. And then two, we are in a situation where we're incredibly blessed to try so many bottles that are hard to find that it's really not almost fair. So it's a different situation.
Right. I mean, sit right here with a guest and try an OFC. Had a Michter's 20. That did remind me of my unicorn, Michter's 25 year.
Okay.
I'm so high on Michter's. You know that. The Michter's 10-year rye and bourbon. That's my unicorn.
That was the one. Yeah, I thought of you a lot when I was at the beach a couple weeks ago because the Michter's 10 rye was the one that just flowed like water all week. We just had bottle after bottle coming, we just on tap, Steve, all week long. Just the 10 rye was just coming.
Hey, so tell me about that spot y'all found.
So this is in Destin. I think it was in Proper, but yeah, we were at the beach a couple weeks ago, and I'm sure this concept exists other places. I have not experienced it, I don't think, anywhere. And it was a liquor store that was in Destin. I think it was called Beaches Liquor, and they have a bar in the back of the liquor, and they had non-sellable bottles of some really good stuff. I had the birthday bourbon that Steve and I had a discussion about. They had the coffee grain that you mentioned Nika coffee grain from several years ago.
My favorite Japanese whiskey.
Exactly. And I guess I point out those two to say that runs the gamut. I mean, there was Stag in there. There was all these different things, and they served it.
And they were legit prices too, right?
They were very legit prices, and they did it by 1 ounce pours, bottles not for sale, just simply to come back, use it as a bar, watch the game. They had TVs with the games on. And it was smart in a ton of ways because it gets people in there drinking. It gets people in there trying different bourbons. And then probably a lot of just appreciation that goes on. So you probably do go grab a barrel pick and go grab this because they got their whole shelf of picks.
Somebody that's doing that probably has some damn good barrel picks, would be my guess. So what was your favorite out of those?
We tried Stag. That probably was my favorite.
You mean a George T or
George
Stag?
T? No, George T.
Okay.
Sorry. Yeah. The other Stag, I'm not a big fan of like Baby Stag. It's actually one of the ones that I think is overrated. I'd love to blind taste it one day because
it's right on that table. We're going to.
I see that, and I kind of go the other way on that one. I kind of go, it just doesn't quite. I'll tell you the one for the week that surprised me that we talk about a lot that I did not like was an Elmer T. and it just didn't do much for me for the thing.
It's just a 90 proof porch powder.
Yeah, it just didn't.
It's
just kind of, it was here, so sure, but coffee grind is very interesting. I tried it just for you. That was the only reason.
You know what I love about it? I get coconut, orange, and then I love the influence. I think I get coffee in it.
Even though that means nothing.
Coffee is the name of the pot still, the still from way back in the day.
Yeah, don't think it's a coffee flavor.
No. But I get, it's the only whiskey I've ever gotten coconut out of, and I love coconut as a flavor. I love orange. It's a nice one. I really like it. So many times Japanese whiskeys tend to start leaning towards Scotch.
They get a little peaty.
This one doesn't. I really like that.
Yeah. So, but Michter's 10, you said it. That was a steady bottle
It's beautiful
throughout the week. Yeah. Well, I didn't know what we were exactly getting into. We got there, and somebody else that was on the trip, they didn't bring a bottle. They brought a bunch of bottles, and it just became a free for all as the week went on.
So what was the best bottle y'all had at your condo that somebody brought?
There were several barrel picks that were beat anything that was just off shelf. There was a Russell's barrel pick that was really, really, really good.
Imagine that.
I know you're shocked by that, Steve. I'll tell you the one that blew me away that I was not expecting was a Rebel Yelp out of barrel pick.
Interesting.
It was really good.
Was it a 10-year or just a barrel?
It was 10-year.
Okay.
Really, really good. Like I'm telling you, it was excellent. It would have been probably top 3 or 4 for the week.
So you took the Detling, the Bourbon Club, the Branchwater Barrel Pick down. Did y'all open it?
We did not. He is Katie's husband Matt. I gave it to him. His Bourbon Club in Nashville. He is taking it to them for their Bring an Interesting Bottle night next time.
It's an interesting bottle.
That was the hope there for that one. If anybody, I guess you can't run across it because it was a barrel pick. But
it's just for the club.
Sorry. But
actually, it is right there. You can see this little fin right there.
That was about empty, Steve. You're going to have to fix that.
Well, I think we have a few. I got to talk to the club guys. Maybe 10 left to get or whatever.
If somebody out there is really nice to us and you promoted us or show where you showed other people, we could probably work out a bottle somehow with that. So surprise us. We could probably hook you up with a bottle of something here as we go on. Figuring out how to legally do that. Putting it in the mail is not smart. But. So we have number 3. Steve's going back to his glass now. He's done enough talking. He's nosing. He's palating. He's confused. He's not confused.
I'm not confused.
Biting finish. Just high proof, biting finish. Good finish.
You know, and I hate, and God, all the guys in the club make so much fun when I say smooth. They just laugh at me. This is so smooth on the front end. Just initial pour, and then it's got a cherry note in the middle.
Almost like a burnt cherry. It's an oaky.
And then a long ass finish.
Again, we're on number 3 here.
Yep.
Feel good?
Yep.
You confident?
Well,
you're reasonably.
We laughed about it. We'll either get 0, 1, or 3. Can't get 2.
You cannot get 2 right because then you get 3 right. And we have not cheated. I promise.
I feel like I've got 1.
Steve wanted to cheat, and we did not let him cheat. He was a little nervous about looking like an idiot.
Yeah. Well, if I get 1,
that's fine.
I'll call that a win.
So we've tried all 3. We're going to go back to them again?
Yeah.
What are you going to do?
Yeah, let's run back through them one more time. What else did you get on this?
I'll start there when I go backwards.
I tend to drink more than you for some reason, Chase. I think your pores were larger than mine.
This heavy spice it's tart fruit forward.
Yep.
You're thinking cherry, apple, pear.
It's not as sweet as the other two.
No, not at all. No. When I say cherry,
it's
I don't
not
mean
as sweet as
cherry.
It's not. Yeah.
I don't mean vanilla cherry cordial. I mean very sharp, almost sour cherry in a good way.
And I apologize for y'all if you hear us crunching, but we have to have palate cleansers.
Yeah,
here.
I'm sorry. It's one of the reasons I didn't use one of our mics, because it would have been just right there. Technology has got good enough. I can actually isolate the chip sound and remove it.
Oh, really?
Kind of. Yeah, you get pretty good at it.
All right, I'm going to bounce back to number 2.
Okay. It's still the sweetest of the 3.
Yep.
There is that's a caramel bomb. That's vanilla, which is somewhat impressive considering the proof to still be getting that level of sweetness.
So here's the bottom line is, and we'll find out here in a few minutes which one is which. I absolutely love all 3 of those bottles.
If any of the 3 would like to entertain us, sponsor us, give us we're saying your 10s across the board. We're not alienating anyone here.
Those are all 3 exceptional whiskeys.
But you have a favorite.
Yep. I have a favorite.
Is it surprising you?
Well,
you don't know yet.
No, I don't know yet. Here's what's interesting. Number 2 is heavier caramel.
It is.
But I like number 1 better. To me, it's a little more complex. And it's got a longer finish. I seriously really like all 3 of those. I have not had it's been a week since I've had any of those. So they weren't fresh enough on my mind to go, oh, well, boom.
Because you've had several in the last week since then?
Might have had a few here and there or whatever. I laughed so hard. Was out of town. Susan and I went up to I told you, the Post Malone concert, and you're laughing at me like Post Malone. And my oldest son and one of his cousins were at the house, and they stayed there while we were gone. And I called him the other night. I got in. There was a smoke wagon on my bar, and I picked it up and poured it, and it's just like almost empty. And I'm like, damn, I just had a fresh bottle, whatever. And so I had a sip, and oh yeah, I like this. I'm thinking, well, these boys wear my bourbon out. So I called Caleb. I'm like, hey, bud, I said, no worries if y'all really enjoyed that. He goes, no, Dad. He goes, that was mine. I brought it and left it.
Oh.
And I walked back into my bar, and I looked, and yeah, there's my unopened bottle there. And I'm like, oh, oops.
You thought they had gone down on your bottle.
I feel like such a dumbass right now. I'm trying to think what all I had this week that I really enjoyed. I had Smoke Wagon, Victor's 10, Rye. I picked up a new bottle of Decadence, Widow Jane, for $100, which is a win all day long. I've got 5 Four Roses barrel picks open right now. I've got 2 Old Forester barrel picks open right now. I've got 4 Elijah Craig barrel proofs open right now. I had the Wild Turkey 12-year, the Super Premium. Oh, we had it last night at Bourbon Club.
Did you?
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. And had some guys try it.
What did they think?
They loved it, and they all said, hey, it's a lighter proof, but the flavor on it's so
We had that back in episode 4 or 5, and it's the international version of Four Roses. It's available in Asia, and it is 80 proof, 85 proof, 86. Okay, but it is complex, like a 105. Like it's got it's got the stuff to it. It's not what you would typically think. I felt pretty confident, Steve, when we started.
Yep.
And I went back to 2 and 1, and now I've completely put my mind in a pretzel as I've had 2 and 1 now.
So how are we going to do this without us influencing each other?
I don't know that it's possible, but it's okay.
I'm going to make you put your glasses out first because I know where mine are going.
Okay.
Or we could even write them down.
Okay, let's do it this way first.
All right.
Because I don't want to be. I guess this doesn't matter. All right, let's do it this way. We'll alternate. We'll do what we think. I'll go first. I'll tell you what I think one is.
Okay.
Then you do two. Then we'll do three at the same time, or however.
Okay.
One more time, just real quick.
All right. Here's one.
I felt so good 5 minutes ago, guys. Like I really did. I felt great 5 minutes ago.
I love it. It's just so much fun.
Now I'm pissed.
I may come across as such a moron, but if I do,
I don't care. I don't know. You're the expert. I mean, you run the bourbon.
There's no expert here at all. Yeah. By the way, and Mac Nichols, I tried to get Mac to show up for this, but some guys have to work for a living. He couldn't make our.
I'm kind of glad. I didn't need that shit. I didn't need that extra pressure.
Mac could have torn this up in like 5 seconds. Either Wes, either one.
Once you drink those two, 3 is so much sweeter after them, and it's freaking me out because it was not on the first pour. The first time I went to 3, Steve, it was not freaking sweet. Why is that sweet now?
All right.
What? No, hold on.
All right, so while Chase is thinking about that, hey, y'all listening to us, the viewers out there, we are going to continuously do, we want to bring guests. We think that's a big thing. Most bourbon podcasts are all bourbon, nothing else. We love the idea of bringing guests. We're lucky enough to know some very interesting people. We're going to keep bringing guests, but we are going to try to, 1 out of every 4 shows, do one of these tastings.
And what we're going to switch up, you don't even know this yet. I thought of it while we're doing this.
All right.
We're going to have someone else come in, pick the 3 bottles, and put them behind the little thing here where we don't know what they are. And then we pick our favorites.
I'm not a fan of that.
And then we pick our favorites, and then we see what we've chosen.
Oh, that's Chase, that's crazy blind right there. That just reminds me. So I've got a buddy, I think I told you about, that I work with over in Libya. He sent me 3 medicine bottles, and he said it's 3 absolute unicorns.
Yeah, that's right.
And if you know him, it's 3 unicorns.
He's not bullcrapping.
Oh, no. And he's like, I'm not telling you what they are. And I made him swear they're all 3 unicorns. So we've got that on an upcoming show. Maybe we'll get Wes or Mac there so we don't get embarrassed. Maybe, I don't know. We've got to think about, do we even have him tell us what they are, or do we just taste them? Or anyway. All right, Chase, pressure's on.
All right,
are you doing number 1? So just put it in front of whichever bottle you think it is.
All right, we're going to go number 1. And I think my confusion has caused this a little bit.
All right.
I think I'm changing from my first thought, which is probably the mistake.
Right.
But I think I am. I've got number 1 here.
All right. You sure you want to do the change?
I mean, I think you're wrong. I think you're saying I'm wrong now, which is fine, but go ahead.
No,
go ahead.
I'm playing mind games.
No, put your number 1. Go ahead. You agreed with me. Okay.
Yeah.
I was trying to decide how much wheat I had in that is what I was struggling with. I was trying to figure out, and I think that was almost one of those deals where it's why I like what I was telling you a second ago, where we don't know the bottles at all, because I found myself trying to match mash bills a little too much and just enjoying it and simply going as we were going at that place. I felt like that was pretty simple there. I felt good there. Yeah. And that leaves number 3 at the Elijah Craig is our guest. I mean, look, we are in it together, guys. And you can't see this.
No,
I'm sorry. I didn't announce this as we were doing it. I put the number 1 in front of the Willett. Steve played mind games with me and then matched me.
I tried to talk you out of it.
I almost went to the WLW.
So that we won't have different picks. I hate the fact that we have the same picks, but we have the same picks.
After the first taste, though, I thought this was Willett on number 1, and then I kind of was going over to the other one, and I was picking up some, because here's the deal. I knew that number 3 was Elijah Craig, at least in my head. Mm-hmm. I was not anticipating the level of sweetness that is in this William Larue Weller. There is a ton. If we're right, and we'll find out in a minute.
I was going to say,
and I'm going to say all this, and then we're going to be completely damn wrong, and never mind. So let's figure it out. So, okay, we have number 1, Willett. We have number 2, William Larue Weller. And we have number 3, Elijah Craig. That is where we're sitting.
And so my favorites were 1, 2, 3, Willett, WLW, and Elijah Craig, and they're all pretty close.
That, I feel, now again, we have different palates,
Right.
we enjoy different things,
Right.
lots of reasons. From a complexity standpoint, I had William Larue Weller number 1, Willett number 2, Elijah Craig number 3. From my enjoyment,
Right.
and this shocked me, I had Willett 1, Elijah Craig 2, and WLW 3.
Oh my gosh.
From just straight what my palate enjoyed, because I love...
If they are what we think they are.
Well, fair. Yeah, sorry. I'm jumping out ahead here where, hell, we could be wrong, guys. I mean, let's do that in a second. Let's figure it out, and then we'll talk about it. Because I want to know where I had, and I'm pointing at the William Larue Weller.
Well,
Here's
here's what I tried number 1, and I thought, okay, this is going to be the Willett or the Larue, and I was leaning Larue.
I was hard.
But then when I had the Larue, the caramel came
You
through.
think you had the Larue? You don't know yet.
Yes.
Let's go. Then we'll talk about it.
I feel good. I think I've got it. I think it's in the back. Anyway, this is my thinking before you embarrass me, and I'm completely wrong. To me, the second one I had caramel, that made me think it was Larue. The third one I told you I picked the barrel, and this is going to be so embarrassing if I don't get this right, because that's cherry. I got cherry out of that.
Oh, did you?
Oh yeah. And I remember that when we picked the barrel.
All right, you ready for the results?
No.
Are you ready? Here we go.
Bring it.
All right. Number 3
Right.
is Elijah Craig.
I felt.
You've got one
I felt really good about that.
that was my most certain.
Now I'm sitting here thinking I have flipped those two. I'm completely wrong. Can I change my answer? Whoa, seriously. Let me think about this.
Okay. I love it. I've seen the answer, so I can't do anything.
So 3. So I told you when I had 3.
Yeah, 3. Elijah Craig has a spicy.
Yeah. It's got the cherry, but then the spice pop.
That's why I love this bottle. See, that's the thing. I told you
under $80.
Yes.
So quite frankly, price point wise.
Oh, this is the pound for pound winner.
Oh yeah.
It's the pound for pound winner. I'm hitting Elijah Craig because this Elijah Craig is something I have once a week. I know the taste, and I love that spicy pop at the end. That is why, no matter what happens, that is why I have this number 2 in my profile rankings. Not for complexity,
right,
but for one taste that I just love in a bourbon. That's what this thing has at the end.
So we both nailed that.
Yes.
I want to flip those two, but I just keep coming back to...
What is it that's making you think number 1 is Willett or number 2 is William Larue? What is the flavor profile that's keeping it here?
The longer finish is making me want to call Weller. But number 1 had the longest finish.
Yep.
It was my favorite bottle. But the second pour was so heavy caramel, it just makes me think that's Buffalo Trace. It's going to be the William Larue. I'm going to stick with it. I'm going to stick with this is 1 and this is 2.
Okay. Steve and I both. We have Willett number 1, William Larue Weller number 2. We've already gotten Elijah Craig at number 3. I don't have a drum roll cadence here.
Right.
Number 1, Steve, is Willett.
Oh. Yeah.
Number 2, William Larue Weller, 3 for 3. And I mean, the sweat beating up on him was true. I swear to God, we did not cheat at all. We knew nothing. 3 for 3.
Yeah. All right.
And I will say this: the people that said, "Hey, the mash bills are pretty different," they were correct to a point.
They are, but I will tell you right now, I'm going to challenge you.
It's harder than you think.
Some people are like, those should really jump
because it's like a tasting profile. If I tell you there's cherry in it, you're going to start getting more cherry. If I tell you it's Willett, you're going to start picking up the Willett. But when you don't know what the hell it is, it's a different ball.
So you know what this guarantees? The next one I will absolutely go.
You'll go over 3, but it's fine. You've got a title now.
Yeah, that's right.
You've already hung a banner, Steve. The banner is up.
And
then here we go. What's going to happen next time is I'm going to hide these things. And Steve is going to pick, like, I hate to make fun of any bourbon right now because of what we have going on, but he's going to pick Travelers over here.
No, I'm not.
Over a Russell's Reserve barrel pick when he's doing his favorites in the in the bucket.
Now you're scaring me.
What about your coach, Steve? You went all dressed up for the occasion.
So public service announcement. If you go down to Blue Delta and meet with Ella to get a buddy a present, and you get him a coat, before you know it, you talk to Ella for about 10 minutes, and you totally realize why you need your own Blue Delta coat at Pheasant Camp to wear up there for everyone. So I went up.
You went up there for a gift.
Yeah.
And
here we are. Walked out with my own little coat.
Does he know he's getting the gift?
No. So hopefully he's not listening to the podcast.
He wouldn't know it's him.
That's right.
I didn't say his name.
Yeah. He knows he's getting the gift. It was a favor. He took care of me on something. Anyway, so I love,
On the square, obviously, BlueDeltaJeans.com for
sweet coat. Really like it.
They have several colors.
Oh, yes. And I got a black one to go with my gray Blue Delta pants I have on right now, but I'm sure I'll have to get the olive one too at some point because Ella will convince me that you can't have a hunting camp without having a hunter green colored olive coat.
Here's the story on this for today as we're going is number one, again, I know we've been repetitive. They're great dogs. All 3 are excellent. They are where they are for a reason. If you are wanting to spend more, if you're wanting to chase something, the Willett, the Purple Top, the William Larue Weller, they're worth the chase. If you think chasing is worth it, they are worth the chase.
Yeah.
Pound for pound, though, the one thing I think to take from this is this Elijah Craig. It is the thing you can get it on your shelf, find barrel picks at your local store.
Right.
If they have done one, you'll like it. If you like that higher proof, that spice, that heat, that finish, it's got a very distinctive finish to it. I think it's again, I called it pound for pound, but I think that's almost kind of the winner for the episode because it held up to these bottles.
Well, and I'll say this too, 2 of these are barrel picks. The Willett's a barrel pick, the Elijah Craig Barrel Proof's a barrel pick, the LaRue's a once a year release.
That would be a very expensive barrel pick, too.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Well, so here's something in my mind. The Larceny Barrel Proof wins a lot of awards.
You love that one.
And so not a barrel proof, but maybe we need to run a Larceny Barrel Proof
up against some heavy hitters.
Oh, well, up against just that, and then maybe a Stag or a Booker's.
I tell you what I want to do eventually is I want to line up some similarities like the Larceny or the Elijah Craig to each other and figure out what that pound for pound winner is.
Oh, I know.
In that 60 to 100 category.
A 1792 foolproof.
There you go.
That would be 3 good ones to do. So maybe we'll do that sometime.
Yeah, but next week or in a couple weeks we might just hide them from Steve. We're gonna let him pick and get marinated and worry it all up as we get going here. But hey, it was fun. It's been excellent every single episode, whether we have a guest or we're just hanging out, drinking bourbon, telling stories, picking on each other, and hopefully entertaining you guys in the process as well. So again, our picks: Willett number 1, William Larue Weller number 2, and Elijah Craig number 3. We went 3 for 3. Don't worry, we're not doing that.
It will probably never happen.
Beginner's luck here as we are doing these flying.
You know what I equate this to? When I was in college, we went up for. Don't ask me why, but we went up to the dog track in Arkansas, and I picked.
You picked a winner?
Oh yeah, like a trifecta right off the bat and won. Put like $10 down, won $300 or $400, and I thought this is the easiest thing in the world, and I never.
The answer was to leave as soon as that was done.
So going 3 for 3 guarantees I will absolutely suck next time.
Spotify, YouTube, wherever you find us. Again, appreciate it. Back next week with another edition of Bourbon South. So pick up some bottles, have a good pour, share it with friends, and we'll talk to you